Don't Look Up should enrage you. I can't even describe how I felt throughout this film. I was pleased that the director clearly highlights the issues we face with the super rich and how they managed to come out on top. As always, I was dismayed at how easily science can be swept under the carpet in favor of political or monetary motives. Still angry. I hated it. Would recommend watching. As I told my dad who was asking about it, it is a perfectly not subtle attack on our government. Money trumping science. Nepotistic presidents appointing racists to power. Ignoring everything and dooming the world, yet hit really close to home. The general bit was funny and on the nose for how the military people in power will squeeze every dollar out of someone else just because they can. The snacks are free. That ongoing joke made me chuckle every time Jennifer Lawrence laid into it. This and the boy with the dragon tattoo line. OMG, I couldn't stop laughing. Thanks for dressing up. I'm a climate scientist. Never related to a movie more in my life. Similar boat. The least believable part of the film was when all the poor people started a riot when they found out billionaires didn't care if they died. The most believable part was when they were told not to look up, so they didn't. The most believable part was the poll indicating 37% of Americans didn't believe the comet was real. The number would be higher. Pretty sure they just used Trump support as a proxy. Fucking hated this film. Would definitely recommend watching. It infuriated me so much I had to remind myself it's not the movie that's at fault. I think you're supposed to hate it. They think about money, not humans. And have a backup plan for the rich only. Just like Wolf of Wall Street. It's not supposed to be a sugar-coated, Hollywood feel-good movie with a happy ending. It's supposed to enrage you. To make you seethe with anger. It shows that no matter how good the intention, people in power will F you over for things like Pauline dismissing the news in fear that her party loses the midterms. Only catches on when it means political gain for her. Every single person apart from the original team is looking at the problem and thinking, how can I gain from this personally instead of how do we fix this? The only person who took the trio seriously, albeit too late, was the singer chick portrayed by Ariana Grande, which I find quite funny, as the character is presented as an incredibly self-obsessed, narcissistic dummy, yet she's the only one who can actually grasp the severity of the situation and try to use her existing influence to do something instead of using the situation to gain more influence. I myself didn't realize what I was watching until I finished the movie and actually thought about it. Gone are the days of helping another person out. It's all about what's in it for me and how do I benefit from this situation. Which in any case is pure selfishness and also scares me because it confirms my suspicion of how the world has actually gotten when you have to screw other people over just to get ahead. One word, capitalism, and the world may never be the same. I was hoping for a fun movie about the end of the world. Instead I got a very real warning about the state of the world, and short of overthrowing the system nothing is going to change. We really had it all, didn't we? Yeah, we did. The people determined to plunder our only viable habitat until the last cent's worth of profit has been extracted are not going to change until they're forced. Ditto for the politicians they own. It's tempting to surrender to despair. If you feel helpless, I get it. But if we give up, we really do lose it all. Organize, strike, keep the great resignation going. Hit them where it hurts. Right in the wallet. They've got the cash but we've got the numbers. No real change came about from asking nicely. That entire last scene is haunting. Did you see the post-credits scene? It was really funny but it wasn't funny enough to erase the frightening parallels between that film and the current state of things. Not for me, at least. Agreed. Post-credit scene was good for all the saggy-assed octogenarians repopulating. But I think most people should end it on that final scene. We should have started 3 decades ago. Carter had his put on a sweater instead of turning up the heat speech. Americans didn't go for that at all. They chose Reagan. They wanted mourning in America, aka a life where overconsumption was the norm. Carter as a president was a mixed bag, but that speech was a warning Americans weren't willing to hear. And then Reagan ushered in this era. Here we are. Carter also put solar panels on the White House. Reagan immediately removed them. Carter was ahead of his time in many ways. The problem was he was too honest in telling the American people that their lifestyle would have to change, which is a big no-no if you ever want to win an election. I've known for a while that capitalism has no answer to climate change, but I'm increasingly starting to think democracy doesn't either. Short of a global eco-dictatorship, we're F. That's exactly why the organized left have been warning people about the rise of eco-fascism. Eventually, the discourse on the right will change to overpopulation, mandatory sterilization. We can't afford to let those types of climate refugees into our borders, and we need a strong and powerful leader to guide our nation through this climate catastrophe. Sadly, so many have been indoctrinated to be more accepting of the tenets of fascism than the actual humane alternative of a green socialist or anarchist reordering of our societies to actually manage climate change or even organize to reverse it. There are already people in the thread blaming poor people and overpopulation. I'd prefer the instantaneous death from the comet rather than the crop failures, famine, fire tornadoes, snow hurricanes, flash floods, decades-long droughts, mass extinctions, refugee crisis, economic collapse, genocidal fascism and war that will unfold as resources become scarce. There's a whole group of people that think they'll excel in a situation like that because they have guns and 100 cans of cream corn. Sign me up for the insta-death. He who has the cream corn has the power. I think we should wait and so fucking real. I first thought it would be a sci-fi and quickly realized that it's not even satire. It basically portrays where things have and are going. From grifting unfit president analogous to Trump and his cokehead imbecile nepotism-laden son, to clueless billionaire detached from reality, to what has been going on with COVID, climate change, etc. It's incredibly accurate and sad. Yeah, I was expecting idiocracy too, but holy yes, it was basically just how things are right now. What's crazy is it was written before COVID, so we literally saw it happen with COVID even though it was supposed to be an allegory about climate change. That's F up. Blow my mind when I read that it was supposed to start filming in April 2020. I had it in my head this whole time that Mindy becoming a celebrity is a bit like what happened to Fauci. I guess COVID has just sort of been speedrunning the same issues we've had with climate change for 30 plus years. Fire Puma 142 was a standout performance tbh. But seriously, what a stellar film. I wasn't expecting to laugh and cry within a minute of each other when I sat down to watch it. Satire of climate change and COVID both, I think. It's very on point. I literally think it's about solving every single very serious problem crisis we face is sabotaged by a combination of vapid preoccupations, bad faith reactionaries, and capitalism. And we're all gonna die. I'm so glad I'm not the only one. It infuriated me. My wife had to keep reminding me it was just a movie. Too many parallels. And then I just dissolved into tears in the end. They F killed this movie. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. I don't even know what else to say. Removed. No, you see, it's moral to watch videos of people being seriously injured and dying and posting jokes making fun of those people in their most vulnerable moments. But talking about revolution against our masters is immoral, especially now that Reddit is going public. We can't piss off the shareholders by suggesting that we hate being treated this way and will fight back against the ruling class by any and every means necessary. Edit. I caught a 3-day full Reddit ban for INC at IMVIL say on my original comment. Thanks for proving my point, you Reddit admin F. I hope your IPO tanks and you all lose your jobs.